Recently, Vietnam's National Assembly officially approved a phased decision plan for the North-South high-speed railway project. According to currently disclosed information, this mega project will span approximately 1,560 kilometers, with a design top speed of 350 kilometers per hour and a total investment of up to 67 billion United States dollars, making it one of the largest and riskiest infrastructure projects in Vietnam's history. What has truly drawn public attention, however, is not the sheer scale of the project itself, but Vietnam's choice of partners. China, the country with the most mature technology and the richest experience in high-speed rail globally, was explicitly excluded. Japan was also ruled out. Instead, the shortlisted partners turned out to be Germany's Siemens and South Korea's Hyundai. This decision has sparked intense controversy within Vietnam and has left the international engineering community genuinely stunned. For a high-speed rail project facing extremely complex geological conditions and unprecedented financial pressure to deliberately bypass the most suitable and mature option, one has to ask, is this a rational decision or a political calculation? It is precisely this news that once again made me realize that when infrastructure is treated as a bargaining chip in diplomatic games, and when projects tied to national destiny are used to play strategic balancing acts, the real tragedy is often only just beginning. Let us go back to 1978. During a visit to Japan, Comrade Deng Xiaoping rode the Shinkansen, which at the time ran at 210 kilometers per hour, and remarked with emotion, "It really feels fast, so fast it seems to urge people to run." From that moment on, China made up its mind to take on the hard bone of high-speed rail. The recent decision on Vietnam's North-South high-speed railway once again reinforces a simple truth. Infrastructure concerns livelihoods and national destiny. It should never be used as a political bargaining chip, nor should major national projects be turned into tools of diplomatic balancing. Otherwise, the price paid is very likely to be heavy. Vietnam's North-South high-speed rail project has now finalized its preliminary plan. The contractor is neither China nor Japan, but Siemens of Germany and Hyundai of South Korea. I am not deliberately talking down Vietnam, but from an engineering logic standpoint, this move is almost equivalent to walking into a dead end. Why do I say this? Let us first look at Vietnam's basic conditions. About 3/4 of Vietnam's territory consists of plateaus and mountainous terrain. The North-South high-speed rail, stretching 1,560 kilometers, must cut through the heart of the Annamite Range, traverse expensive swelling soil foundations in the Central Highlands, and pass through soft soil layers up to 30 meters thick around Ho Chi Minh City.
Such terrain imposes almost brutal requirements on track smoothness for a 350 km per hour railway and leaves virtually no margin for construction error. Yet the German and South Korean companies involved, one historically focused more on real estate development, the other on automobile dealerships, are not even fully familiar with the complete process of railway construction. The Velaro Novo and Emu 350 train models they previously proposed have yet to see large-scale commercial operation even in Germany or South Korea. In essence, they remain concept trains. Vietnam is thus asking an almost outsider team to tackle world-class geological challenges. Is this not a recipe for creating a massive unfinished project? Vietnam's expectations for this railway are extremely high. It is supposed to integrate the northern and southern economies, reduce logistics costs, and seamlessly connect with cross-border transportation. At present, the only domestic project in Vietnam that truly matches these ambitions is the Lao Cai Hanoi Haiphong cross-border railway built by China. That line directly adopts Chinese gauge and speed standards. Had the North-South high-speed rail also been entrusted to China, Vietnam could have fully leveraged it to open up an economic corridor with Southwest China. The prospects would have been obvious, yet Vietnam deliberately bypassed this optimal option. So if the North-South high-speed rail is almost destined to become an unfinished project, what exactly is the Vietnamese government seeking? In my view, the root cause lies in the fact that Vietnam has not yet fully shed its illusion about Western countries. There remains a belief that by cooperating with nations that industrialized earlier, it might be possible to obtain some core technologies. But the reality is that Western countries in this field have long fallen behind major Eastern powers. The little technological capital they have left is hardly something they would simply hand over. More importantly, China is the true global leader in high-speed rail technology today. China's operational high-speed rail mileage has surpassed 48,000 kilometers, accounting for more than 70% of the world's total. The new generation Core 450 EMU has reached test speeds exceeding 450 kilometers per hour, with a maximum commercial operating speed of 400 kilometers per hour, clearly pulling ahead of Japan, Shinkansen, and Germany's ice, both capped at 320 kilometers per hour. China has built a complete industrial ecosystem covering 521 enterprises, achieving full chain autonomy from design and construction to equipment manufacturing, operation, and maintenance. Construction costs per kilometer are only about 2/3 of those in developed countries, while operating costs are just 7 cents per kilometer. A World Bank report explicitly noted that China's high-speed rail construction costs are roughly 2/3 of those elsewhere, far beyond the reach of Western competitors.
Beyond this, China has led the formulation of all 13 system-level international standards for high-speed rail under the UIC framework, transforming itself from a rule taker into a rule maker. This export of standards is not simple replication, but highly customized adaptation. Examples include developing a heat and humidity-resistant Southeast Asia version of the Foxing trains for the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway, and enabling seamless alignment with EU standards on the Hungary-Serbia railway, ensuring Chinese technology truly fits local conditions. As I review China's achievements in high-speed rail, the century-long history of hardship and sacrifice in China's railway development inevitably comes to mind. For great ambition is born of great sacrifice, daring even to remake heaven and earth. In 1876, foreign powers built the 14-kilometer Wusang Railway without permission, arousing both curiosity and anger among the Chinese public. The Qing government eventually paid heavily to buy and dismantle it, an emblem of old China's powerlessness in the face of industrial civilization. Not until the Beijing-Zhangjiakou Railway opened in 1909 did the Chinese people truly stand upright. Zhang Tianyu wrote in his diary, "Each contributes what he has learned. Each gives what he knows, so that the nation may resist foreign aggression and stand independently upon the earth." Leading his team through the remote mountains of Badaling, he conducted manual surveys and designed the ingenious switchback track. When the train first emerged from the tunnel, Zhang Tianyu watched the rising steam with tears in his eyes. That railway became a spiritual totem of the Chinese people's refusal to yield. For a long time, China's railways were trapped in a severe chokehold situation. Before the founding of the PRC, locomotives from 9 countries and 98 different models ran across China, mockingly dubbed a World Expo of steam engines, with core technologies entirely in foreign hands. After 1949, China embarked on a thorny path of independent construction. The Chengdu-Kunming Railway stands as an epic written in blood and flesh. In 1,958,360,000 soldiers and workers pushed into the Hengduan Mountains terrain foreign experts claimed even monkeys couldn't climb. Earthquakes, landslides, and underground rivers were everywhere. For great ambition is born of great sacrifice. Along 1,096 kilometers of track, more than 2,000 people gave their lives on average, 2 builders per kilometer. When the line opened in 1970, surviving workers wept as they looked at the rails. They had not built just a railway, but hoped for children in the mountains to escape isolation. The Qinghai-Tibet Railway was what truly turned the impossible into a world miracle. Building railways on the roof of the world, permafrost was considered a forbidden zone in cold region engineering. Once it melted, the subgrade would collapse. Academician Lei Yuanming led his team in abandoning outdated passive insulation ideas. At the Fangguoshan Tunnel, over 5,000 meters above sea level, they endured temperatures of -30 degrees Celsius, conducting over 200 days of repeated experiments. With active cooling subgrade technology, they made the permafrost behave. When the railway opened in 2006 and Lei heard the onboard broadcast describing the subgrade structure he had developed, he broke into tears. I was deeply moved and immensely proud. Raising stone walls along the Great River, cutting off clouds and rain from the gorges, a vast lake emerges between high mountains. Today, China's high-speed rail has long become a hardcore national calling card. For Vietnam, the adaptability of the Chinese solution is truly unmatched. Vietnam knows full well the advantages of China's approach, yet still insists on pushing China out. Officially, Vietnam cites promoting localization and reducing single-source dependence. But these are little more than smokescreens. The reasons are not hard to understand. Vietnam has long pursued a bamboo diplomacy, swaying between major powers and seeking Solway's strategic balance through diversified cooperation. Influenced by the South China Sea issue, Vietnam remains wary of China, fearing that excessive reliance on Chinese infrastructure would erode its diplomatic autonomy. At a deeper level, southern Ho Chi Minh City contributes nearly 30% of Vietnam's industrial output, with per capita income 1.8 times that of the north. Vietnamese leaders worry that if China were to build the high-speed rail, the north-south gap might widen further, intensifying internal tensions. In my view, this is not necessarily bad news for China. It may even be a case of a blessing in disguise. The risks of this project are enormous. A budget of 67 billion United States dollars, more than 60% of Vietnam's annual GDP, with financing gaps largely dependent on corporate loans and no full government guarantee, even setting aside cost overruns from geological risks. Issues such as land acquisition, environmental assessments, and interprovincial coordination alone are enough to drag the project down. If China were deeply involved, it could easily become trapped in endless delays and cost disputes, repeating the experience of Japan's Ho Chi Minh City Metro Line 1, which has taken 17 years and remains mired in disputes. More critically, Vietnam has long sought technology transfer through cooperation, even attempting reverse engineering. China's high-speed rail core technologies are the crystallization of countless engineers, efforts and decades of investment worth tens of billions. Avoiding this project means avoiding the risk of those core technologies being coveted and copied, firmly safeguarding China's technological edge in the global market. Ultimately, China's high-speed rail does not need Vietnam's project to prove itself. The steel tracks crossing mountains and rivers, and the trains racing day and night, have already delivered the most convincing answer. True great power engineering never stoops to becoming a political chip. It focuses solely on laying tracks into people's hearts and delivering real convenience. China's high-speed rail story continues. Vietnam's political gamble, however, will eventually come at a heavy cost.